house, and they get by everybody essentially. A lot of the femcons do too. A lot of the femcon women, they really give the "I'm available" vibes, don't they? They really do.
We see liberated women and educated women.
Kellyanne Conway.
Yeah, Kellyanne Conway writes in a book of husband cheating by tweeting, and Ivanka Trump suggesting couples therapy. Cheating by tweeting. So the husband was trying to get it on with somebody else because he's a very rich, powerful guy. Doesn't surprise me. But anyway, continue.
Educated women as fetish content. Many of them would rather tame a feminist and marry a feminist instead of their MAGA wives.
No.
Stay tuned for
None of them would rather marry a feminist. There might be some select group of people out there who have sexual fantasies about feminists. I wouldn't dispute that. There's a lot of weirdos out there. But I don't think any of them would ever want to marry one. And none of them are saying, marry me. They're all saying, I'll pay you money to do sexual things to me, which seems to imply that they think she's not wife material, but rather, I don't know, what do you call women who you pay money to in exchange for sexual services, Mr. Enigmatic? Strumpet? Lady of the night?
How crude can I get here, Andrew?
Yeah, lady of the night. I was really hoping that you would be a little bit more subtle, but apparently you're just going to go right for the kill shot immediately. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Sorry, that's it.
Bye, love.
Bye, loves. Here, I got a
most cringe chick ever.
Someone who was raised MAGA, the sad reality is that a lot of white women only vote the way they do because of their husbands. And white women are a demographic of people that consistently
Read it out loud, Mr. E.
Why do we keep expecting white women to vote differently? Oh my god. I read the whole thing. 7 decades of exit polling research and data analysis by myriad political scientists consistently points to one conclusion. White women, by and large, tend to vote Republican. Interesting.
If they're married,
have voted against their own interests. If you are a white...
Okay, but how is that tie? Look, they vote the way their husbands want to, which is against their own interests. Maybe it's with their interests. You don't know.
Well, that would be in their own interest, right? Wouldn't you voting against your husband not be in your best interest? That seems like that would be in your worst interest to not vote the way that your husband's voting. Sounds like you would divide your family. Sounds like... So what she's doing is she's trying to make the case that the sisterhood is what should be all-powerful. Who cares what your husband thinks? It's what's good for women in the sisterhood, not what's good for the evil patriarch at home who you happen to adore.
How goes the job search, dog?
Remember when you asked me a few weeks ago, like, have you given up for a short time? And I said no. I'm in that stage right now.
Oh, giving up?
Yeah, for now.
Fair enough.
I thought of sending one the other day, but then I didn't go to any of the places I wanted to, so I just didn't.
Dog, you just gotta pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
Bootstraps. It sounds so dumb, dude.
In my day, you could just walk in and hand in a resume. You gotta show it an issue.
Yeah, in your day, you could fucking buy a loaf of bread for 3 cents. You could work fucking 5 minutes and buy a loaf of bread. Now you gotta work, what, 20 minutes? So it's like 8 times worse. Wait, no, 3 cents. What am I talking about? 3 cents in $5?
What's up?
Bro, that's fucking... You're rich at that point. Can't remember how much my dad used to get paid at, like, Canadian Tire back in the day. But he could afford a fucking Chevelle, so it was definitely enough.
But dog, you can afford a PlayStation.
What, now after I got hit by a car? Yeah, but not before. That's why I had to get my parents to
raise the prices on PlayStations.
Yeah.
They raised it by $50 US. That amazing.
Wait, they raised the price for the PS5?
Yeah, it got raised yesterday.
Oh shit! What the fuck?
I don't know how old that console is, how many years it's been out, but yeah,
Yeah, it should be going down. What the hell?
Welcome to the new economy, man.
Cheating on you. And if
Here's the thing. Who
The
would be more
fucking
likely to
hottest
cheat
black chick walked into the store today.
if you're a MAGA woman?
Oh.
Your conservative husband?
I don't think I've
by
ever
the way,
seen
she only
a
thinks
sexier
that
body.
They do because they're chat enough to be able to. Who follows Christian ethics, or your Coomer local destiny, who just humps anything which is available.
Dude, like when I
Which one do
see
you think
chicks
is
like
more
that,
likely?
I'm just like, yeah, dude,
if
white
he's not
chicks are
doing it in
overrated.
the physical world, he's doing it in an online space.
Oh, I see. Right. So if he's then he's in the online space and he's emotionally cheating or something like this. Give me a break. Zero to back this up. Just completely made it up.
I want me some dark meat.
Other than she had nothing else to talk about because she's a moron. Blazing Saddle quote: "Where the white women at?" What does that say? Unsecurable. Women who are taking advantage of men with these type of mental issues should face jail time or penalties. These men need help. It's disgusting.
Most people who consume OnlyFans and other content are married. And here are some messages that I have gotten in my DMs.
Well, the thing is like there is some truth to this. I don't remember what this is.
I'm gonna look that up right now.
Right, but well, I think that is actually correct. That there's a lot of men who are in sexless marriages who are doing this. Watching arrogant, delusional, and pompous feminists have their worldview crushed is funny, yet not deep, thought-provoking, or inspiring. It doesn't teach you about Ecuadorian literature. Well, that's true. I guess it doesn't. It teaches you something much more important, that these are the women that you have to deal with in life.
DMs on Instagram. This guy
There's two different studies. I haven't looked into them, so like one's from Psychology Today and one's from the sources are Psychology Today, SciTech Today, and Tech Report. Multiple sources indicating approximately 89.5% of OnlyFans users are married.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another article about it. Turned out 90% of OnlyFans subscribers are married men and not some lonely incels. Are we surprised?
Yeah, but here's the question. The question becomes, is like, which demographic of married men? She just assumes, imagine being such a coomer, you just assume that it's only the Republicans and right who get married.
Maybe he'll bring back Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8.
Right.
You're saying it's not enough. Now you're on your own. The other thing is, by the way, I'm so tired of this. All references available, link in the description. Blacks built this country. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. In comparison to the labor in this country, and certainly in comparison to the businesses created and the innovations in this country, and yes, manual labor, especially if you look at the Industrial Revolution, you look at these great booms that took place in this country, it is not because of black people. They took part in it, but not any greater part than anyone else. 75%, by the way, of Southerners didn't own any slaves whatsoever. States like California never had any slaves, to be clear. And while we're talking about this, the vast majority of slaves, anywhere from 90% to 96%, I think the high number, 96%, comes from Cornell West, they were sold into slavery by West African slave traders. Also, if you want to go buy yourself a slave today, you can still do it in plenty of African nations. You're going to be dealing with a black person, though, so don't be surprised. Here's the next part of this, is slavery, too, actually can be argued through the metrics. It held the country back. The free North outperformed the South while they still had slaves in every way you could measure economically. The cotton industry exploded after slavery ended. Innovations like the cotton gin, that came from the areas of the country that didn't have slavery. So this is something, and it's something that it's used to guilt white people.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have this country if not for black people. Okay, well, black people, Africans who were sold by their African brothers, hey, they're still there in countries in Africa. What does that look like? What's the difference? You have Africans in both. They're slaves in both. Slavery's wrong, to be clear, just like Hitler bad. Africans in both, slavery and slave owners alike in both. Pick a country, any country. The African continent, United States. What's the difference? Who built the country?
One of the most infuriating things that she does is she makes these claims as though they're self-evident, right? She just says, yes, systemic racism exists. We were trying to think about, okay, well, how do you combat that without going down 50 rabbit holes? Okay, well, we'll go with what she said. Government, prisons, and schools. Okay, we can't prove that because we just disproved that. Reparations are absolutely just and needed. Okay, well, how do you prove that? Who gets it?
Right.
These people, we built this country. Therefore, she goes to the next point as though that foundational statement is true. I just wish she would say something with some kind of factual backing. Quote a study, even if I don't agree with it, just something, a stat. Give me a number to go after. In fact, when the guy brought up statistics about black-on-black crime, she goes, stats lie all the time, honey. If you're going to make your argument about stats, you already lost.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she did. It's like, oh, so I will never, ever, you're just a racist person.
Yeah.
That's really what you're a racist person who hates this country. Fantastic. Here's an offer from me. Not this show, from me personally. I will write you a check right now to pay to have you move to Africa. Because apparently you don't like it here.
Yeah. Let me ask you.
I don't want to be an oppressor.
No, none of us do. Let me ask you this: if you went to Harriet Tubman back in time and said, "Hey, look, you can tomorrow, slavery is done. You don't have to do this railroad stuff. Okay, it's done. It's over.
This railroad.
Everyone will be free. Everyone will be free.
All this malarkey.
But that's it. It's a fresh start. The only way we know how to do this, Miss Tubman, you've inspired us, is to break these chains. Slavery is done, but we just got to get a fresh start. We can't keep looking to the past. It's over. Everyone's free. Do you think? Of course she would take that deal. And if she saw seals, she would tell her to get a haircut and sew up the holes in her jeans. Here's a bonus claim that she makes that just sort of shows that she's an actual racist. If you didn't know that by her defending Jussie Smollett because of his blackness. The claim here is that the Chinese aren't actual minorities or something like black people. I don't know.
For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black people kill each other according to the FBI?
Oh, young Matt. One, comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
But I don't believe that happens at all. No one here is in.
Are you acting right now? Do you really believe
I'm telling
this?
the truth.
There's a way to try and discredit the person.
Yeah.
Before I get to the truth, let me just tell you this. I think that you're placating by saying black people kill black people in record numbers because that's a. You know what I'm actually really concerned with? I'm also really concerned with the fact that black people kill white people in this country in record numbers. It's not just your community's problem.
No.
What
and we
the
have a right to an opinion
fuck?
because we are several times more likely to be assaulted, to be mugged, to be robbed, or to be killed by a black person as a white American than by a white American. Yep, the numbers are even higher because of the proximity effect of black people living around other black people. But let's be honest about this. We're concerned that we're more likely to be the victim of crime, and you can't blame it on there not being enough affirmative action. Anyone agree with that? I'm tired of going, oh, the black on black crime, they're the biggest. No, yeah, sure, they're the biggest threat to the black community. I'm very concerned with them being a threat, that community, to my white children.
It's a great point because in this, the longer version of the video, I think people brought that up, and it is a real concern. But her response was, well, how many black people do you see in your neighborhood on a day-to-day basis? A lot. How many white people do you see in your neighborhood on a day-to-day basis? Some. Well, then that's why. You're not in danger from white because you don't see white people.
Yeah. The only problem is if you look at the armed robbery, you look at the burglaries, you look at the violent crime taking place in the white neighborhoods, the next town over, you still see the same stats. In other words, these gangs of largely black people, they travel. and we have a problem with it.
Round, round, get around, they get around.
The Browns, they get around. But here's the truth. The Chinese in the United States, it's not a false equivalency, they weren't even considered citizens until 1943. 1870 is when the 15th Amendment gave black men the right to vote, to be clear. 1920, the 19th Amendment, some would say a mistake, granted black women the right to vote. Not because they're black, all women. And today, yes, the median income for Chinese Americans is $82,000 versus $54,000 for black Americans. So they've been discriminated against far more recently in a way that would negatively affect their income. They bounced back. And by the way, richer than the average German, just to be clear. Like, the Chinese do really well.
You keep saying it wrong.
Chinese.
Thank you.
It's pronounced Chinese.
Finally.
Admonish me.
Yes. Admonish him alone.
I don't want to be ethnocentric.
Doodle.
Chinese.
Go down with the shift here.
And by the way, these metrics show you, they Chinese, they know dumb. They are doing very well.
They know the maths.
So,
I don't know why it's plural in other countries, but it is. Hey, so let's just concede the argument that she makes right now. I just want to concede every single point, right? I know we don't want to do that, but let's just concede. Every single thing you say about white people in this country, white supremacists and Harriet Tubman, systemic racism everywhere, you're right. You're owed every single dollar in my bank account. Do you think that's going to happen? And is that the best advice for all of your constituents to try to get that? Or let's just say that they're an oppressive system that they can never get out of, which is kind of what you're claiming in the first place. Wouldn't it be better to do what the other cultures have done and just try to make the very best of it that you possibly can and try to fix that instead of just complaining and shaking your fist at the sky and saying every bad thing that happens to you is because of the white man keeping you down? That's what works. You don't care about your community.
Yeah.
You care about having a grievance. You care about having an excuse for failure.
Right.
Instead of saying, hey, we need more fathers in the home in this community. Hey, we need less violence in this community. Hey, we need better education in this community. And guess what? Those people aren't going to give it to us. Fine. We're going to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
I tell you who really wants reparations. Chrysler.
Oh, I thought you said I thought you said preparations, and I was thinking it's big H.
No. No.
Reparations.
Wouldn't I? But I'm not going to say it.
For those who are members of Rumble Premium for Muggle, we'll go on for another hour. It's $99 annually. You get everything ad-free. You get 100% more show, including the Friday show. And it's the only thing that keeps the lights on. Or try it for $9.99 a month, where they talked about with her black culture. And they talked about hip-hop and the things that were glorified. And she said, well, who's the one feeding black people that? Who's the one? So if they're force-feeding you junk food, and in other words, it's white people who are largely responsible for the mass consumption in the black community and rejection, by the way, of any and all other forms of media as it relates to gangster culture, as it relates to decadence and hedonism that you see. I would have loved to ask her, what's on your playlist?
Yeah.
What do you think's on Jesse Smollett's playlist? Why have you been duped by the evil white man? I'm guessing Jew, right? Why have you been duped?
It is our fault.
Yeah.
We invented the bucket and the mop.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's which is after which she modeled her hairdo. What was the other thing? Do we have a left versus reality singer, or is it a claim truth?
Left.
No, we don't have any things.
Oh,
we just have left.
We just have the
reality.
things. Yeah.
I can claim truth again, but
no.
Not really.
It's okay. So let's go on to this. President Trump is, he's been making the rounds. He's been making a lot of progress. And yesterday, he met with some of the, some people say Eurotrash. I would never say that. Leaders in D.C. And it all started off, before we get to some of the claims from the left, where they really want this administration to fail. And by that, I mean they really want never-ending war. It all kicked off with a warm welcome to Zelensky, who put on a suit, sort of. I guess he got the message.
I'm Mr. President. His name is Mr. President. Because he's the president.
Thank you very much, everybody. A couple of things there. First off, when he goes, this is the best I have, this suit, change it. That's why we think you're a disrespectful little prick. Stop by Men's Warehouse, get a 2-for-1. And look, this is the thing too, it's funny, right, where people are talking about all cultures. Hey, It's a custom here. It just so happens to be a custom on the greatest country on earth. Put on a fucking suit. President Trump also, it's not a big deal. It's just respect our culture, you know? President Trump also, by the way, was in rare form. He had personalized greetings for each, I would never say Eurotrash leader.
Everyone knows President Macron of France, who's been with me from the beginning, one of the first people I met. He's a foreign dignitary, and I liked him from day one. And I like him even more now. That's pretty good. That's unusual. That's a pretty unusual thing. Prime Minister Meloni of Italy, who's a really great leader and an inspiration over there. She's served now, even though she's a very young person, she's served there for a long period of time relative to others. They don't last very long. You've lasted a long time. You're going to be there a long time. Chancellor Merz of Germany, who is
just picture Biden in this role.
Person,
right.
And a very strong leader and very highly respected
or
in
Kamala.
Germany. And he's my friend, and it's an honor.
I like Negronis.
Thank you very much. Very good. You look great with your tan.
Look at
Where'd
this.
you get that tan? I want to get a tan like that.
Where'd you get? I get mine from a machine.
I stand and go, whoa.
Here's the thing: you may not like it, but the guy has something to offer in basic communications. Like,
well, but he got people to laugh. You're there for a very serious subject. You compliment people. You got them laughing. He understands how to work a room.
Well, one of the biggest lies that we were ever told, and they still try and sell, is, we're being mocked. We're being, we're the laughing stock of the international stage. Comment below. Does anyone actually believe that other leaders, the international community, respected us more with Biden at the helm? Does anyone actually, genuine comment? Right there, they're laughing. They're like, this guy, you're incorrigible, or whatever generic. You're incorrigible? That's Finland.
Wasn't Maloney the one that had to redirect him back to the meeting when they were doing the D-Day memorial?
I think so.
I think she was the one that walked over and grabbed him and was like, hey, by the way, be respectful. It's over here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where your country liberated our continent.
Yeah, chocolate chip. By the way,
Your doggy home yet?
All time great photo ops, including President Trump showing off his hat collection. Look at that. It's like, look, there's so many hats.
That is hilarious.
It's an episode of Cribs.
That one right there goes on my head.
I wore this one when I was shot.
Still got
there's a little blood there.
That's why it's red.
I love that hat. It's red on red, but it reminds me of the fact that I lived, that God loves me more than you.
Next, he's gonna show him his Air Jordan collection.
Yeah. You'll show what's in my fridge. Diet Coke.
When you gonna head out, dude?
Actually, all sports.
I was just gonna ask, do you care when we go?
Show the new Oval Office. This is where the magic happens.
No. I'm already home, so.
Like, do you want to relax for any amount of time?
What's in the next? Oh yeah, this picture of all
No, not really.
around the Resolute desk.
There's no point, right?
They're all around there. I love how you crammed them in.
30 minutes doesn't really seem like a lot
And the best
in terms of relaxing.
caption on X, because we put this out
And
there.
the dog, man, if you're scared to fucking go to the music store and pursue your dreams, because it means, you got work ahead of you. I mean, it's up to you, bro. Fuck.
I'm literally asking if you want to go. Basically, I was gonna ask if you want to go now or at 5.
Listen, are you scared of your success?
It's like appetizers in Italy.
Fucking loser.
Yes. Okay.
Nice,
Well, now
She's the Italian. Yeah.
I just thought it was like something that didn't like the pasta.
I mean, yeah, if you want to fucking relax, you can
cheese and
relax.
wine and stuff like that.
It's not
No, I was gonna
Oh, then
ask
I'll be
if you want to
back.
go now
You gotta
instead
get
of
your own
5.
thing. Now this picture may have been the best one right here. Look at that. It's the worst Avengers movie ever. But to be clear, they were also getting ready for the evening's festivities.
I want it.
We figured we'd throw it in.
That's cohesion.
Yeah. So, and we're going to get to You're Wrong About Everything here, and the references are all available, link in the description. This means that legacy media, seeing the man who's not supposed to be respected by the international community being unilaterally respected by the international community, seeing the man who was
What'd you say?
a feckless, ineffective celebrity president being
I was gonna
incredibly
ask if
effective,
you would rather just
accomplishing
go
what no one
now
else has been able to do for
or
years.
at Whatever time.
I can't fucking hear you now.
And that means that they're completely up in arms, accusing Donald Trump of abandoning Europe, doing Putin's bidding. You know, the same tired talking points that don't really apply, but they still try and apply.
Say it again.
I was gonna ask if you'd rather just go now or you want to wait until 5.
If you're ready to go now, I'll go.
And then you're
Okay,
showing
I'll just go get ready.
out literally a red carpet for him. Putin clearly won.
There's no world in which Donald Trump, he doesn't like multilateral meetings because he likes to be able to bully people on their own.
It's unusual. All the stuff you just saw doesn't even happen for our Democratic allies.
Got a flyover, a red carpet, a handshake.
It's not a lot of great state TV.
How many times have you seen any of our Democratic allies, or NATO allies, or allies in Asia treated